Hello, men. Welcome to the Whysmen Virtual Pub. My name's Paul. I'm here with David. I'm one of the co-founders of the pub, and David and I meet in a European group that meets every Monday at 7:30 p.m. UK time, 8:30 p.m. in Europe, and 9:30 p.m. in Africa and the Middle East. So this group is part of the Wise Men group, the pub, and it is open to all men 18 years of age and over on a drop-in basis. There's no charge to participate, and the theme of this pub is we connect men worldwide, foster sense of belonging by connecting men to conversations that matter. David and I have been meeting for a couple of years now. And he's agreed to a short interview. So we just want to give you a bit of a flavor of what we're doing. So I'm going to ask David a couple of questions. I'll be the interviewer. He'll be the interviewee for this one. So David, so can you just give the audience a little bit of a rundown on what you're getting by participating here? What's in it for you, and why do you keep showing up every week?
It's a good idea, I think, for men to discuss a wide range of issues that we're interested in and which we may not generally be able to talk about in the mainstream of society. That could be anything from emotions, women, finances, general advice. It's very good to be able to pool information and to share it so that we're not constantly trying to work out every single thing for ourselves. And there's another factor, which is that men tend to rely completely on women for their companionship, whereas women have a much more diverse group of friends that they rely on. And so that men are left out in the dark in many ways if they don't make an effort to find some groups to belong to. I found that with women myself. I've been out with a girlfriend and she's telling her friends everything. I haven't necessarily got many people to tell my stories to, and I get a bit jealous, frankly. She's got all this background information, and as men, we tend not to talk about it. So we have these useless relationships in which nothing is discussed, like sports relationships or drinking buddies and so on. So it'd be better if we could just talk more openly about anything that bothers us, and
So,
also get
so
yeah, go
you're
on.
you're getting like that kind of thing here. So you're able to connect and discuss what's really going on with you, whereas
Well,
you're not really
yes, we
seeing.
can.
It's difficult for guys to or men to really get that.
Well, I think it is, don't you?
I do. That's one of the reasons why I'm doing this work. I find in my life very little opportunity to connect with men, and what I find nice about this is we're connecting with men around the world, right? So there's different perspectives, um, right across the globe: Australia, England, Africa, Pakistan, the States. Like we're seeing different ways of life, which is, it's interesting. I think this to share and witness other ways of thinking. I think that's what I get out of this.
Yes, and also there are situations in which somebody might have an idea that you don't have. Like, for example, a few weeks ago, you were talking about counseling and whether you should give people advice or not. And I've always been someone that likes to tell people what they should do and give them advice if I think I know what the problem is. You then advised against that, saying that you don't like to give advice, that your wife, who's a counselor, also takes that stance. And I thought about it and I reflected on it, and that was very useful because I often find myself in positions with, for example, my girlfriend, whereby I'm tempted to give her advice, tell her what she should be doing. But because of what you said, now I hang back, and sometimes I don't do that. You actually advised to instead of saying what you should do X, Y, and Z, say to the person, "Well, what would you like to do? What would you like to happen?" The reason being that if you tell people what to do, they often don't do it, or very rarely do it, and then you end up repeating the advice or whatever. And
So
so the idea of reflecting back is actually a good one. It's not one that I'd thought of, but it's one I incorporated after you had said it.
yeah, it's a nice place to be able to get feedback when you're in a situation where you've been doing something over and over again and you have no one to check in with, right? So like if it's your girlfriend, you can't check in with her. So you could say, this is what I'm doing. What do you think? And then ask for feedback. Like, can you help
Well,
me?
that kind of
Yeah.
experience that you have is very valuable because I can then pick your brains and see what you've got to say, and suddenly I've got a new opinion that I hadn't actually had before. I've never really got that opinion from someone before. So instead of trying to always do it my way, I've now got two ways I could do it. If somebody's asking me there's a problem, I could do the old system, which is say, oh, maybe you should do X and Y and Z, or I could do the Paul system, which is reflect back to them what they want to do. In other words, not always jump in, because people don't always take advice, and it can be frustrating. So maybe the Paul way of doing it is pretty valuable as
Thanks.
as another alternative. You say.
Thanks for the kudos, David. And I've gotten some really good help from you around my brother and reflecting on my death of my animal, checking in. We check in with one another on what's going on. I find that useful as a place where you can just bring shit, and
Yeah, exactly.
you don't have to, it's not like you can take it to your woman or to your family, right? It's kind of a place where you can let it out, so to speak. And yeah, so just one other question, and we're going to terminate this. What are the kind of things, like we do our check-ins, we do our reflections, we get into like deeper conversations on things. So what have you noticed that we've talked about that where we've had some pretty good discussions? Any topics that you think that we've covered that that men would like to know about here?
Well, we've talked about anything from family dynamics and relationships to basically sexuality and what a sexual relationship with a woman is like or should be like, along with any problems that you might be occurring in a man-woman relationship, because they're fraught with difficulties if you don't know what you're doing. So we have been into some areas like that. Again, if you get feedback from guys who have a different experience, it's very valuable, because then you're not trying to make your mind up from a sample of one, which is yourself. You've suddenly got somebody else's opinion, maybe two or three, and the experience grows exponentially. That's why it's very valuable to do this.
Great,
In
Dave.
my opinion, it's a very valuable thing. Instead of trying to solve every damn
Yeah.
problem yourself, which is what men are trained to do. We're trained to do that by the society. Oh, sort everything out yourself. The trouble is that makes every single problem really difficult and onerous, and also you can make mistakes as you try and work every single thing out.
Oh
That
gosh,
there's
how
a
many
possibility
mistakes
yourself.
how many
Well,
mistakes do we make? So David, well, hey, thanks a lot. I just wanted to that we could go on, like our meeting could go on for quite a while. But we just wanted to give people out there kind of a sense of what we're about. And so these one-on-one interviews will continue. You'll hear from other men from different parts of the world. David is in the UK. I'm in Canada. So, we have men, as I said, all over the world. There are 5 different meetings you can participate in. And we do have a global meetup where we meet once a month, every third Saturday of the month, and a time that's convenient for most folks in the world, where we discuss the subject. And you can find the subject on our Facebook page or somewhere here where we're posting this video. I'm sure that you can find the link. So thanks again. Have a great week and take care. Bye now.